Always saying way too much and not enough. I got two moves, fuck the world or fuck some commas up. We've been going in so long, forgot who's got it out for us. Look up in the mirror and see a diamond who got out the rough. Bitch, I made it through, that's a sight you wait to see. Cause I never needed you, like the way you needed me. Back to the basics, I finally got it, and baby, I won't let them take it. I'm destined for greatness, mixed that with some patience, and baby, you got you a star in the making, I swear. All these raindrops on my head, thought I would never see the sun again. Still remember when you said
Welcome to WYCD Wicked, that stands for What You Can Do. It's your old pal Jake, and we are looking at the Republican Civil War. Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one. They're fighting. They can't stand each other almost as much as we can't stand them. How are you, Soul Life? Hello, the anti-corporatist. Good to see you both. Tinkerbell, good to see you. We're having a gander at the infighting that results when a bunch of con artists try to work together. You ever see that movie with the gal and the comedian and the guy? I don't remember any of their names, but about con artists trying to a fish called Wanda. Think was it. I don't remember. Anyway, the point is con artists inevitably try to thieve from each other. That's exactly what's happening. Taking turns throwing each other under various buses, and it's wonderful. It is wonderful. And I want to celebrate with y'all on this most twofer of Tuesdays and enjoy the fact that the endurance strategy, which we have been forced into by a lack of action from Democrats, is working. Was this the best strategy? No. No. Most of these punks should already be in prison. Most of them who deserve to spend the rest of their lives in prison will, in fact, not spend a single day in jail. But when it comes to the game of power, the Republicans are losing. Because it is not, in the United States, the game of power is not a game populists were meant to play. And the GOP, having gotten more and more desperate, turned to populism. But like everything they touch, it was a corrupt and sick form of populism. They tend to make things dark and evil just by their association. They did that with populism as well. We're going to look at two major splits, but three examples of splits in the GOP. That'll be clearer at the end, I swear. But the idea is both to understand what is happening now and what it tends to look like when Republicans turn on each other. I see people fretting quite often that the conservative voters are lost forever. I think the politicians that they've been following need to be lost forever. We have to get rid of them. Most of them, in my opinion, deserve to be in prison for either betraying the country or getting people killed, usually both, more often than not. But the voters are a different story. And I think you'll be fascinated to see how quickly things that they said they would believe always and they would die to defend are just discarded. Because these people, and now I am talking about the voters, don't actually believe in much. They don't. They are playing a game. They've been taught that this is a game, this is a hobby, this is something you do for just to fill the hours of the day, is make other people's lives worse. And come up with reasons why you're doing it. That's the fun part, is you dance around and you come up with these, it's like a paint by numbers picture, sort of. You fill in the blanks with these, whatever colors come to your mind, whatever podcast you were listening to that had a good pitch for why you're going to do a cruel or irresponsible or deadly thing. But the point of their little game that these voters have been taught to play is to proudly not understand reality, is to proudly never accept the actual situation as it is. The whole point of this game is to try your best to make life worse for other people and get away with it as long as you can through a series of excuses. That will become, I think, crystal clear in our last segment. But first, let's enjoy the absolute destructive, how do I put this without getting the channel demonetized? I need a different analogy. All right, how about this? Let's enjoy the utter collapse that is George Santos's career. It's fantastic, and it looks like he's going to do exactly what they should have been worried about, which is to say, taking a whole bunch of fellow criminals down with it. In case you hadn't heard, George Santos has been given the boot. He has been asked, firmly yet politely, to leave. On his way out, just like Madison Cawthorn, he's revealing everything he knows. It's fantastic. It is well and truly delightful. Do I have? I can't actually show you the Twitter page that George Santos has, because Elon Musk is doing such a terrible job of running Twitter that it doesn't work with OBS like it used to, and I use OBS to stream. So rather than do the work of advertising Musk's terrible platform, I'm just going to read you some of these Santos tweets. And bear in mind, what I'm reading you is by no means all of them. The link is still in the description. If you want to check out former Representative Santos's Twitter page, by all means, go ahead. Here is from December 3rd. Hey, New York District Number 1, here's the clown that represents his own interests in D.C., admitting he spent a whole year obsessed in, I suppose he meant with, kicking me out instead of doing his job to represent you. Replace meathead La Loca with a real member like Zeldin to fight for you. I don't know why he put La Loca in quotes. This is when Congressman Nick LaLota says with George Santos in Washington's rearview mirror, it's time to focus on policy issues like the border and our nation's debt. George Santos again, now talking about Representative Brandon Williams. Williams said, I will always fight to defend my family and yours. Our nation and the world needs passionate believers in the blessings we share and that they are worth protecting. George Santos says he's defending nothing but his bruised ego since 6 staffers walked out on him earlier this year for being a pompous drunk jerk. Listen, now I sympathize to 2 of those things, but I am no jerk. Granted, Congress is a high turnover place. I had 2 staffers quit on me, and I was under fire. That's just to give you guys a barometer of the significance of his staff exodus. Representative Williams is a nasty man that has no place in Congress. Yikes. George Santos also said, I know this is a hot take, but I think the only person that can beat Susie, I don't know how to say the name, Susie, since the Dems are misogynistic asses and won't let Anna Kaplan be their nominee, would be Mike Saprius, blah, blah, blah. He's a former blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Trying his best to screw over yet another person. Update on the outlandish behavior of @Rep Williams. I'm told that there will be an ethics complaint filed with OCE and potentially a police report for assault. A very drunken Brandon... Too good. A very drunken Brandon Williams attacked 2 former staffers who resigned from his office earlier this year due to... they used to have these characters limited. Due to his terrible temperament and awful treatment of his staff. Brandon on Thursday, November 30th, physically assaulted one of the staffers after he threatened the other one by saying he would end him. Long story short, this is just more exposure of the rot and decay, the pompous in Washington, D.C. that represent no one but themselves. Representative Williams should resign in disgrace for attacking young staffers and always being in a drunken tirade and the chambers reeking of alcohol. I don't have a horse in the race. Yes, he does. So I won't file the complaint, but look forward to sharing a copy of it when it's given to me. Basically, since he's been kicked out, this guy has been ranting, raving, and spilling the dirt. I do also want to point this out. A user at Ziwi says, Mr. Santos, would you be interested in a pay-per-view interview? You'd be an iconic guest. He says, let's do it. That's the state of things, folks. Understand that George Santos is not, he's not anything special. 5 years ago, he would have been. But we had a president do this act already. Where I had no visual for that because Elon Musk is doing this act for capitalism. Just like Trump did this act for politics. This is simply people who are so bad at the grift. They're so bad at playing this game. That they are exposing it for what it is. I can't even say that George Santos is doing something unique for the sub-presidential politics level. He's still not the first. That's Madison Cawthorn. Again, he was so bad at running the grift that he exposed the grift for what it is. Started spilling dirt on his own party. This is going to sound a little crazy, but this is why lefty infighting, in my opinion, is good. We don't pretend. We are often wrong in small but significant ways, and we fight over it, and I don't think it should be the end of a... I don't think, for example, you should stop watching Sam Cedar if you don't have the exact same idea about how taxes should work. Even if he says something about taxes that you disagree with, and it turns out you're right and he's wrong. But we keep each other honest by continually correcting each other and thinking critically about what each other is saying, so on and so forth. It's why, for example, I do think that Menendez fellow, with all the gold and yada yada, that thing, he's got to go. I'm not interested in kicking him out before we kick out the rest of the traitors, like the actual traitors. who are still in Congress. I think we do need to follow an order of operations, but I mean, there's no question. Assuming, and I don't see how he's going to get out of it, assuming this is proved in court, yes, Menendez gone as well. Because if we don't do that, if we don't hold ourselves to a certain standard of behavior, if we don't have ethics, if we don't have an internal morality that we care about, the bar for our party will lower and lower and lower until people like Santos or Cawthorn or Trump, slugs like that, can slime their way over it. Because the bar's just lying there on the ground. Bar down as it goes. There's plenty of reasons for you and me, the people that have to try to live our lives under the rules that they put down. There's plenty of reasons for us why our party should behave with decency. But there is purely self-interested reasons why. For the long-term health of the party, having try to say this like, not like I'm talking about a group of like wayward children, but I mean, this is truly where we're at. Having naughtiness just be so accepted amongst people who are supposed to not be. Having a lack of ethics, however you want to put it, hypocritical mentality, I guess, if I want to use a $10 word. It results in the sort of people who not only spill the dirt on everybody else, but also, along the way, you pick up the sort of people who have dirt to spill. Being drunk on the House floor, taking bribes, assaulting your own staff, for God's sake. We should follow Mr. Santos's recommendations, and we should follow him on social media. We should keep track of what he says. Don't reward him for being as sinister as he is. Don't sign anything that would put him back in a position of power, but listen to what he says. He's being hateful. He's taking revenge. Good. It's an opportunity for decent people. And I do apologize, folks. Still recovering from a bit of a sickness. Oh, let's see what the Wicked community has to say. I might just keel over. Oh. Trying not to cough, but it's not going well. Rex Trek, good to see ya. Coked Boomer, evening all, says Rex Trek. Excellent. An actual cloud. What are we listening to? That, in the beginning, was Gianni Taylor, Hideaway. I'm in a dispute right now over music that I played. Audio does indeed have the license to it, but apparently so does TuneCore, and TuneCore and I are having a spat. So let's hope that goes well. The anti-corporatist, oh haha, was messing around on Blue Sky. I thought he was talking about Santos. I was talking about Santos and also Menendez. Both of them. From the Democrats. I hesitate to say our party. I don't want to take all that responsibility. From the Democrats, who for the time being, I am nominally on the side of. Can't wait to break with them totally and completely and wash my hands of them. Or maybe take over the party and kick all the people I don't like out. But regardless, for now, for 2023, what's left of it, I'm on their side. Menendez as a representative of corruption on the Democrat side, and what we should do about it. Eventually kick him out for being a corrupt little scumbag. But what's so wonderful is that George Santos is just spilling the tea. It's great. I love it. TuneCore sounds fake as, right? It does. I looked it up. It's apparently a real company. Oh, Rextrack. Oh, Mary, girl, we ain't heard the last of him. No, wait, we have not. Rextrack, yeah, we're stuck for now. Exactly. True. And AC, heads up on the audio thing. TuneCore might, if you play a song, might try to copyright the music. Just have your PDF ready. That's what I did. We'll see how my dispute goes. I'll keep you in the loop. Oh, yes. Let's watch Michael Steele. Got another on the same vein for you. Let's keep it going with this GOP civil war. Y'all remember Michael Steele? He's on MSNBC a lot. And you might think, oh, that's not a Republican. GD it. He is. He was the RNC chair. He might have been there for reasons that are shallow. He might have had hopes for the party that were different than how things panned out. In fact, I can say with some confidence that is the case. But nonetheless, he was major leadership in the Republican Party. Look at what he's saying about the de facto head of the party now.
Use my best analysis that I can give you at this point on this situation with Trump and his attacks on the judges. Put his ass in jail. That's how you end it. That's how it stops. Now, yeah, people will be mad and they'll be upset, but there is no other person on this planet, and certainly not in this country, who would be given the kind of grace that Donald Trump has been given to run his mouth the way he has, attacking the clerks, attacking the judges, attacking the prosecutors personally, threatening them. We've shown the evidence when he does that, how his base responds. So if he was to continue in this vein, then use the system the way the system would be used against all of us on this show right now. Because you know damn well if any one of us said half of what Donald Trump has said, we would not be on air tonight. We would be in a jail cell.
Ain't it the truth? Ain't it just the truth? It is. It is the truth. That's not the end of it. That's just what I call the GOP. The GOP, if you're not familiar, is a nickname for the Republican Party. It stands for Grand Old Party, despite the fact that there is nothing grand about it. I use that as shorthand to refer to the old school Republicans, the Michael Steeles of the world, the GOP. They hate MAGA because MAGA is ruining their grift. Understand how easy it would have been for you to be a traditional GOP anything. Senator, president, and the easiest thing in the world. All you had to do was pretend that you hate taxes. You could even tax your constituents. Tons and tons. You don't even have to know how it works. You just have somebody. You don't even have to know their name. You have somebody put it together for you. They will be supplied by and paid for by whatever your betters are, whatever you acknowledge as your betters. That can be big oil, big gun, all of it. Just have them put together a plan that taxes the bejesus out of your constituents, gives tax breaks to billionaires, and then you take your bribe either in the form of a stock tip or whatever. That's ruined now. That's ruined. You didn't have to govern, and in exchange you got money and power and book tours and yada, yada, yada. You got to live like Michael Steele is living. Go on TV shows and pretend like you know stuff. That's ruined because Trump can't play the game. He can't keep his mouth shut. He can't be subtle about anything. He's nearly as bad as I am. George Santos, same thing. Cawthorn, same thing. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene, Boebert. She can't stop giving handjos in movie theaters. She can't even run a restaurant without giving literally a group of rodeo clowns diarrhea. These people are what MAGA is. Anything but subtle. Wrapped in faux populism. And they're trying to get in on the grift without being able to properly execute it. Don't worry. If you thought that doesn't sound that bad, we've had GOP people shaking their fist at MAGA for years now. Oh no, MAGA's going the other way too. Here's Steve Bannon. He called for a civil war between MAGA and the GOP. Of course, now I cannot. Here we go. Let me refresh that. There's a video associated, but that video is on Twitter, which means it won't play. Thank you, Elon Musk. You are to capitalism what Trump was to politics, proving that there are folks who get to do the things you get to do that, just like you, don't deserve it. Here's the article. Steve Bannon has been itching for a civil war, but after the George Santos expulsion today, not today, but you get it, the War Room podcaster got really specific on who the enemies were and emphasized that it's not Republicans versus Democrats anymore. Isn't that interesting? Thank you, Carla Sinclair from, God help me, boingboing.com. In fact, I watched the video. This is true. He did say these things. In fact, he targeted his vitriol not on the usual suspects on the left, but instead on the establishment wing of the MAGA party, calling out Fox News, Kevin McCarthy, and 105 Republicans who voted to oust the New York fraud maker. This is McCarthy screwing MAGA to jam up Mike Johnson. This is 100% McCarthy and his acolytes trying to make our job even tougher and even take away our majority, the former Trump strategist said. This is 1,000% Kevin McCarthy. This is Fox News, everything. This is the apparatus saying we're going to shut down the ability to make massive cuts. We're going to shut your ability to stop the defunding of Ukraine. Stop the defunding of Ukraine. Shut down your ability to... All right, whatever. They want a civil war, they got one. And anyone who takes a penny from McCarthy, you're part of the problem, so bring it. Bannon then explains that it's not between Republicans and Democrats anymore. This is the uniparty, corporatists, Wall Street, Big Pharma, Silicon Valley. They're after everybody, particularly the MAGA guys, he warns. When they roll hard. You got Judas Pence, now Judas McCarthy. This is a stab in the back to Stefanik, to Johnson, to Jordan, so it's game on. Let me see. See if I can play it. Nope. Stand by. The point being, they're not just rats on a sinking ship. They're rats on an almost sunk ship. Donald Trump's himself getting crazier and crazier. I'll return to Trump eventually. We'll talk about what he's been saying, yada, yada. But, I mean, it's just more and more drastic of the same. He's threatening because he's panicking, because his strategy is just to panic. Certainly not to address the facts of the matter in court, where it's illegal to lie. I'm sure he never even considered that as a possibility. Because he's a liar, and he knows he did what he is accused of doing. He knows he broke the law. He knows it will be proved. Other people who staked their reputation on Trump and being Trump-like know that a whole bunch of Americans are about to see that Trump was a liar the whole time. It won't be as satisfying as we want it to be. It won't even be a huge percentage of his followers, but a percentage of his followers will see that, and they're not going to say, let me find the next person that I'll get behind just as much as I did Trump. They're going to say, I'm sick of being made a fool of. I'm not showing up. I'm not giving any more money to these people. Oh, what happened when I gave money to Bannon in the wall? Oh, he stole that. What happens when I give money to Trump? Oh, he stole that. What happens when my cousin goes to that rally to keep Trump in power that turned into a coup? Oh, my cousin goes to prison. Trump says he's going to pay for their attorneys. Never did. My cousin had to pay for his own attorney. That he ran out of money. He had to get a court-appointed attorney. Bear in mind, all of these losses on the margin will cut directly into his base. The people that hated him outside of his base we're going to hate him for life. Trump already couldn't beat Joe Biden in an election. I'm not saying like Joe Biden's such a good campaigner. I'm saying he couldn't even beat Joe Biden in an election after America got a taste of him running the country. That was before he tried a coup. Then he tried a coup. He did yet another crime. It's slowly dawning on America how bad the coup was. The amount of people that this group of grifters, in other words, has to grift from is shrinking. What happens then? It really tells you the difference between people who enter politics with a goal in mind and people who enter politics for the grift, for their own personal benefit. If that were happening in the Democratic Party, there would be unity. There would be a collective push to expand the party's credibility, to rebrand the party. We might even, I know how crazy this might sound, we might even start doing things differently. We might look at what the people want and start doing that. That's not what's happening in the Republicans. In a shrinking pool of Republican supporters, what is happening is the grifters who grift off of them are trying to eliminate each other. Good. All we have to do, keep being dignified as much as we can, formidable as much as we can, so they don't think they can bum rush us, and correct. Look at policies and support the ones that you think are best for everyone. Try to do good. Insist that your lawmakers try to do good. I know, a wild theory behaving, but it is the lefty way. Keep doing that. And we'll survive and they won't. The only thing I think we only two things I think we truly have to guard against are a sudden surge of violence from people who are losing and know they're about to lose entirely. Sudden surge of violence from them. And Democrats doing the thing they love most in the world, which is, of course, rescuing Republican grifters. They did it for Nixon. They did it for Bush. They did it for Reagan. They did it for Bush Sr. They did it for Cheney. They did it for Powell. They did it for Kissinger. They will do it for anybody we allow them to. So keep paying attention to this stuff so that you can be prepared when the time comes to tell your representative, who, God willing, is a Democrat, that you will not brook any nonsense with rehabilitating these people. You see them making nice with a Republican who is not saying they're leaving their party and denouncing all those actions, then you say, quit making nice with that punk. I don't want to see you normalizing traitors. But good news is they don't appear to be long for this world, because the Republicans are just tearing themselves apart. Good. See what y'all have to say. Groove Dragon, pretty big idea. It's just so traditionally political that it just may work. Oh, let me jump back up. Groove Dragon. MAGA equals make assholes get arrested. Yeah. Ban Bannon. Oh, I don't know why. I mean, he's probably on her way into prison. We don't really have to do much. He's going to be self-banning. I'm of the belief. Tinkerbell. I may be wrong, though, and there's nothing wrong with double banning. Tinkerbell, Elon Musk is a one-man refutation of the entire concept of meritocracy, and he can't get enough of broadcasting it to the entire planet. Oh, yeah. It's amazing. Tinkerbell, God, the Democrats are so embarrassing. Yeah. It's very difficult for me to properly express how much distaste I have for these mother effers. I don't have like the energy to like actively hate them while there's Republicans about. It's a bit like hating a neighbor who bangs into your car once a week with their car when there's like a Nazi invasion happening. Like, I'm concerned with the actual Nazis first and foremost. But that said, as soon as that's dealt with, I cannot wait to have preferably nothing to do with the Democrats ever again. I look forward to that beautiful day when we can just say, hey, you want a conservative? Go to the Democrats. You can have plenty of conservative choices over in the Democratic Party. But if you want to run things well, come on and join the progressives. That, and I always want to maintain, just in case, if and when we do get to that point, we may choose, and I don't know which is the wisest course of action. I'm sure someone more knowledgeable than I will chime in when the time comes. We may choose to just kick them out and let them form their own party. Got another one here for you that I'm looking forward to doing. You need to have it prepared, though. I will do that as I talk with a smooth vamping skills. You, in fact, can't even tell that we're in between segments right now, and I am preparing a thing because I've so flawlessly changed these things. You understand why I would very much like a buddy to come on here and be the what they would call the talent. I want some clown to get in front of the microphone so I can click the buttons and not be the mic guy. I like talking to y'all, but I don't like doing two things at once because I end up doing them both poorly. Anyway, we're ready now. beginning of the stream, I was talking to y'all about what it might look like when we see people abandoning Trump en masse. I was watching a year-old stream from Owen Morgan the other day, and it was like a vision of the future. If you recall, a year ago, there was some nervousness about Trump. There was other options showing up. There was this hot young kid named DeSantis who looked like he might take the Republican Party by storm. He was doing all the things they love, like being cruel, running things badly for no reason, being a smug old to just about anyone that came in contact with him, smiling awkwardly, eating pudding with his fingers, all the kinds of things that Republican voters love. And it definitely looked like it was a good time to get off the Trump train. It turns out there was some more mileage in it. But at the time, people who were making their money off of this grift were looking to just create a little. Also at the time, it was very, very popular for evangelicals to talk about Trump as though he were a holy figure. Because, and I believe this truly, if it makes you angry to hear, I'm sorry that it does make you angry, but you should know that I'm being honest when I give this opinion, and it is my truly held opinion. Evangelical preachers who preach about politics do not believe in God. I believe that that comes from my heart. I don't think they believe in God. I don't think they take God seriously, and I think they have a very low opinion of the people that follow them. So because they are blasphemers, let me try that again. They are blasphemers. It's a hard word, blasphemers. If I'm going to pronounce it at all, I got to do it wrong. Because they are blasphemers, they were happy to include a 21st century politician in their discussions of the makeup of reality. They were happy to say that Trump and God, they're like this. Oh, he's the messenger. Oh, he's the chosen. It might have seemed like people who follow someone like that will support Trump in all things until the end of time because now they've taken logic out of it. But don't forget, the blasphemers who are doing this, who are corrupting religion for their bank accounts, only care about their bank accounts. So if it looks like that politician is going to become bad for business, they will drop him just that quickly. Here's Owen Morgan with a wonderful breakdown of when Pastor Greg Locke split with Trump. And I recommend that you remember that context with how intense the support of Trump had been. And listen to how Greg Locke breaks with Trump. And look at how easy it is. Think about how simple it was.
Interesting news about Greg Locke recently. Last week I talked about how Trump was losing support from his die-hard followers. Never give up on him kind of people, right? And he's losing.
You might ask, oh, what was it? Did he do something that was morally objectionable? Did he hurt somebody? No, Trump accidentally wound up on the right side of an issue, which of course was the onus for this. Sorry, I'll let him go for a while.
support from them because he's been telling people to get vaccinated. Suddenly, his supporters have to choose between loving Donald Trump and believing that he was sent by God as a de facto messiah, and their hatred for vaccines, their anti-vax ideology. Now 2 ideologies are clashing, ramming into each other.
I'm sorry. All right, I gotta jump in. Well, I liked that he made a mockery of my religion, but I don't like that he's now telling me I should take care of my body. Ugh. I like that he allowed me to laugh in the face of God, but I don't like that he wants to stop me spreading a deadly disease around the earth. Tough one. Tough. I like that I get to... You get the idea. These people genuinely, and I'm sorry, but I am talking about Trump followers. These people need help. Their priorities are so out of whack. They're so out of whack. They have become the villains. At the very least, if there's a word that means both victim and villain, they have become that.
And a lot of people don't know where to go. I find it absolutely fascinating to watch different people react in different ways. For example, Shane Vaughn, I talked about this guy last week. He spoke out in support of Donald Trump and said, God sent this guy. If you speak out against Donald Trump, you're speaking out against God.
You know, they're losing faith in Donald Trump because of his stand on the vaccine. Let me correct you. You're not losing faith in Donald Trump because it was not Donald Trump that put Donald Trump in that office.
Let me just be really clear about how effed up it is that we're in this position at all to begin with. Nobody should have had faith in a human politician to begin with. Faith in the way he means it here, in the context he's using. He's using it literally, like the difference between trust and faith. He's using the religious concept, faith. That is for God. That's not for humans. Closest you can get, maybe, is Jesus. That is how serious it was, and listen to him pulling it back.
4 years before Donald Trump was ever known about running for office, Yahweh, the God of heaven, spoke through the mouth of a prophet and said that a man named Donald would be put into the White House, and that man Donald would be the servant of Yahweh to restore America. And guess what else that God said? That this man would serve 2 terms. So if you're losing faith in Donald Trump, you're really losing faith in the God that put him in office. And that's a dangerous thing.
But
that's not the split. Do understand. I just want to make that clear. But listen to how they talk about it. Crazy. All right. Owen, take us to Greg Locke, please. This is where it gets phenomenal.
A lot of other supporters have gone a different way with this. Greg Locke has an interesting perspective on Donald Trump now that Trump has come out and supported vaccines multiple times. So I wanted to see what Greg Locke had to say about Donald Trump now that he's supported vaccines. But before I show that video, I want to give you guys a little lead up to it. I want to remind you of who Greg Locke is. This came out July 30th, 2020. This was about 5 months after the pandemic really started to hit. It was really getting serious at this point, and we started hearing words like social distancing and mask usage and things like that. We had never been through a worldwide pandemic before, most of us, and we had no idea how to handle it, so we were just sitting back and listening to the doctors and the CDC and trying to figure out what we should do. The CDC was telling us to wear masks. So what does Greg Locke do? He walks into a Dunkin' Donuts, and the Dunkin' Donuts guy tells him to wear a mask, and he loses his shit on the Dunkin' Donuts guy. Freaks out on him. Says, I'm not wearing a mask, I'm not doing this, goes completely nuts over how masks are useless and he's not going to wear one and all that other stuff. Give this a watch. This is him.
Yeah, I'm going to jump past. Oh, God, no, it's too good. All right, let me just say, he does exactly what Owen describes there. Also understand, he went there looking for trouble. He went there looking to make a scene, so he could make that video, so he could make a buck. Let this be an indictment of capitalism as well as our culture in general. It's a culture of greed. But this guy, in desperation, who make money, made a pandemic worse. And by the way, who was he harassing? Who was he harassing? Essential workers. People who were literally risking their lives to make him to-go coffee. But he's got to make his stream. So what's he do? If he even did this at all, he freaks out. If not, if he didn't do this, it doesn't really matter because he encourages then tens of thousands of people to go make essential workers' lives harder. Do you remember? Were you an essential worker? Did you have to get out and do work during the pandemic? I sure did. How awful was it running into MAGA? Every time you saw these punks, you just knew they were going to make the situation more dangerous for everyone. Dangerous for kids, dangerous for the elderly. They were going to do their best to make everybody's already way too hard day much harder. Because it was their hobby. Their hobby to be useless pricks. Because of people like this. All right, get him, Owen.
You know what the golden calf is? Actually, it's not mask usage. The golden calf is literally a golden Trump statue. I just want to point that shit out.
Yeah, that's Owen. The guy in the video says people were worshiping masks like the golden calf. Okay, let me jump ahead. Finish up Owen. I'm just gonna let Owen go for a while, and this time I guess I mean
That's an issue. I digress. Let's keep listening.
No, it's not just a mask. It's a compliance device. This is not about safety. This is about surrendering of our rights. Can I remind you, this is still the United States of America. This is not communism. This is not China. This ain't North Korea. I don't live in Haiti. I don't live some other country somewhere where I'm under the guise of communism.
Sorry, let me just say, interesting that he's got communism on the mind when he is making this video in order to make money. Endangering people in order to make money. He happens to have communism on the mind. Maybe I wouldn't have to do this. Maybe I could afford my truck without getting a bunch of people killed if we lived in a different...
Social. This is the United States of America. Y'all hear me? Trump 2020. Who?
Yeah. That was... I apologize for the level of cringe in that video, but we had to watch it. I just want to make it clear just how much this guy loved Donald Trump. I really want to drive this point home. Let's watch another clip. This is from late 2020. This is after the election took place.
I'm telling you, Donald Trump, with 100% accuracy, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, lest I get shadow banned or my page is completely taken away, has won single-handedly the presidency of the United States of America in the biggest landslide victory in the history of this nation. I'm telling you, I'm not worried. I'm not fretting. I don't have basketball-sized ulcers. I'm not going to lose 1 second sleep over any of it. Joe Biden didn't win. He's not the president. He will never be the president. And come January the 20th, I'm telling you, I'll be wing, bing, 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 winner, winner, chicken dinner.
The dude loved Trump. He loved him deeply. That brings us to the recent events, early January 2022, after...
Quick side note, I'm sorry, we're getting into the main part now, but before we get there, Notice he was making that video before January 20th. Who told him? Who told him that Joe Biden didn't win? We didn't used to have these problems before we had the traitor. Anyway, suffice it to say, Greg Locke is the sort of person who you would imagine, I like to think, as the standard Trump fanatic. Here he is, a full year ago, breaking.
Trump has endorsed the vaccine. Not once, not twice, but at least a minimum of 3 times, Trump has come on stage in front of an audience and said, I want you to get your vaccines. Okay? How does Greg Locke feel about Donald Trump now?
So I'm going to say something. I don't care how ticked off you get. I'm going to say something. Listen to me. Stop. Everybody say stop. Stop sitting on your butt and waiting for Donald Trump to do something in this nation.
Troubling in its own right.
Stop it.
Continue.
That is a far cry from what we heard before, isn't it? This dude was leaning on Donald Trump as the new Messiah, effectively. That's how he viewed him. And suddenly, 2 ideologies are clashing with each other. His love for Donald Trump and his hatred for vaccines. And I guess the vaccine one won out at the end of the day. That is absolutely fascinating to watch. This dude was so obsessed with Donald Trump, so obsessed with him. We will get to more of it, but in a second. Let's keep watching.
He gave the evangelicals a mighty voice, and I'm glad. Whether he runs or not is on him, not on me. But I'm sick of Trump worship in this church.
You're the fucking one who started it. What are you talking about? You're sick of Trump worship. Are you kidding me? You're the one who started this shit. What is happening? We live in some fucking bizarro land where he's blaming everybody else for people loving Trump in his church, as if he wasn't the one that loved Trump first. What the fuck is going on right now? This is crazy. I'm sick of Trump worship in this church. You just gotta look in the mirror, buddy. Listen to this line that Greg Locke says here. Hang on. Let me step back.
He gave the evangelicals a mighty voice, and I'm glad.
Okay, so now Trump has been downgraded in Greg Locke's mind, basically from savior, from messiah, to just somebody who gave evangelicals a leg up and nothing more, pretty much. He has downgraded Donald Trump's stature in his mind. He no longer worships him like the new messiah. Apparently, that's what it looks like. Based on this video that we're watching here, it appears as though Greg Locke no longer worships Donald Trump. He appreciates that he gave the U.S. evangelicals a leg up, and he doesn't care if he runs or not. It's irrelevant to him. He's ready to talk about Jesus effectively. Isn't that a stark difference from what it was just a few months ago?
Whether he runs or not is on him, not on me.
Isn't that fascinating? It's completely different now than it was.
He was lied to, and he knows it. And his arrogance won't let him change his mind.
He's starting to see all of the flaws in Donald
Criticism.
Trump. He's starting to recognize the arrogance, and maybe even recognize that arrogance is not a godly quality, if you will. That's not something that you would expect to find in a Messiah, right? Arrogance?
I'm telling you right now, on the authority of the Bible, if Donald Trump does not get out in front of this vaccine nonsense, he is going to lose his voter base in the next coming election. I'm telling you, it's going to happen.
Honestly, I think Donald Trump has already seriously damaged his credibility among a lot of evangelical voters by supporting the vaccine. I am so deeply glad and proud of Trump for endorsing the vaccine for 2 reasons. For one, he's going to save people's lives by encouraging a few of his supporters to get vaccinated. A few, at least. And number 2, he's going to save lives by lowering the number of people who are going to vote for him. It's a win-win situation in my eye.
True. I love Owen Morgan. I will always promote that guy's content, and I will never promote Greg Locke's content if I can help it. So I'm happy to see that through that lens. or to view that through that lens. But I do want to just go over the simplest part of that. That church, a month before that, I don't want to dignify it by calling it a sermon, that speech was given, was not a place where any criticism at all of Donald Trump would have been accepted, even though we know that man to be an arrogant person, a cruel person. And as simple as that, as easily as that, one disagreement, and it's fine to criticism. It's fine to give criticism to the guy. It's fine. Oh, criticize, that's the word I wanted. It's fine to criticize the guy. One disagreement. Now, between here and there, I'm sure Greg Locke came around. I'm sure Trump said that, I don't know, all Eskimos should be ground up for sausage meat or something like that. And that was evil enough for Greg Locke to get behind it and love Trump again. This tells me, though, that his support is not nearly as ironclad as it appears to be. When the winds change, they will all blow off. A few people will get sick of their relatives, friends that they have somehow managed to hold on to despite supporting the end of democracy, despite having tried to do away with those people's right to voice their own opinion in this country. A few of them will get sick of their complaints, and they'll stop being Trump supporters. There will be less MAGA signs going up. Few people who were going to go down that rabbit hole will go down a different rabbit hole on the internet. They'll find something else to obsess over. It'll be a little support, and then all of a sudden it'll be all the support. Because the behavior of a MAGA supporter is pretty much indistinguishable from the person on the street screaming at people that the end is nigh. And it really feels lonely to do it without others around you also doing it. It's hard to maintain mass hysteria, without the masses. We should be concerned that Trump was a problem in the first place. We should be concerned that we are still, just now, in fact, trying to deal with it. This has exposed a level of weakness in our country, which will take probably the remainder of our lifetimes to repair and improve. But we will do the work, because we are decent people and we see the work needs to be done. But don't think that Trump's... On the one hand, don't worry too much about Donald Trump specifically. Worry enough, but not too much, because the winds are changing. At the same time, understand that, as has been said by others, he is a symptom. And now that we've experienced that symptom, it would appear that we are going to survive it, but we need to deal with the problem. Not going to surprise you to hear how we deal with the problem. Get progressives in office. Go as local as you can. Work your way up. Make sure in your area, above all else, that there is a progressive running for county commissioner. The county commissioner race is probably going to be the most important race that you end up voting in. It'll be the least talked about, most likely. I would be surprised if even the local news, aside from their election night results, talk to you about who the county commissioner even is. You need to pay attention yourself. You need to make sure it is a progressive. If there is not somebody who you know to be a progressive running as the county commissioner, you got to go out and find someone who's willing to do the job and convince them to run for the thing. That is who decides how elections are run. Republicans cannot be trusted to run elections. They just can't. I'm not even comfortable letting them count ballots, not unsupervised. You just can't have them do it. They're thieves. They're criminals. They cannot be trusted. That's been made abundantly clear. The good news is that in the world that progressives will build, the outrage that is hijacked by con artists will not be present to be hijacked to begin with. The end of this, the final victory for progressives is not going to be nearly as scary as those who oppose them would have you believe. The terrifying future that awaits our political enemies is the absolute certain doom of their problems. Progressives will just try to make the world better for everyone, including the people that hate them, which is going to make it hard to hate them. The horrible reality they're afraid of is a group of people who are genuinely trying to fix people's problems. Potholes in your streets, progressive in charge will care and will try to do something about it if they can. Are you working 40 hours a week but you can't pay your bills? Progressives will care. They will try to do something about it. That's our scary plan. To give a damn. Thankfully, it would appear we are approaching the end of the era where our plan is just to survive till tomorrow. Oh, let's see what y'all have to say. Bella Lugrisi. Geez, I remember the 21st century. I remember the 21st century seemed so far away. I just had myself devastated when I read about a student referring to something that happened in the 90s as the late 1900s. Oh, it hurt. It hurt. Groove Dragon, take the internet back. Absolutely. Bella the anti-corporatist, right? Like when Prince came out with 1999, we were like, oh my God, that's so far in the future. Oh gosh, yeah. Oh my gosh, Marianne McDermott talking to the anti-corporatist. I used to work hard, play hard. After the kids and getting sicker, it just became work hard. Now it's play hard, rest hard. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Oh man, Marianne McDermott, I probably wouldn't have the energy to take up tap dancing and pom if I was still working. I first of all, heck yes, way to get some cool hobbies. Second of all, agreed. Bella Lugrisi. Crayola Crayons has created a new color just for Trump. It's called orange. Oh God, I love that. So here's the deal, gang. I am working very hard on completing that cartoon that I started working on in 1846. I just want it to be done. I also have plans for it, and I have something I want to launch with other content makers on YouTube soon that will require me to have a certain amount of minutes of content to provide, and that is involved. But if I'm honest, mostly I just want the thing done, because I quite like parts of it, but they don't make sense without the rest of it, and I want to show off those parts I do like, and what the hell, maybe the whole. So, I'm going to go work on that. Tomorrow, I will do a sort of 2 for Wednesday, because I will be covering the final Republican primary debates. I can't wait. And then, of course, Left Past 10, which I will literally not be able to forget is happening this time. So tomorrow, 2 streams, the Republican debates and Left Past 10. Tonight, no more streams, because I'm going to go work on that cartoon. Thank you for joining me. This has been WYCD Wicked. That stands for What You Can Do. My name's Jake. And I'd like to advertise before I go also my new favorite show, which I haven't seen. That is My Dramatic Impact, coming to YouTube. Wireless Mike, just saw that you're doing that. That's awesome. This is a guy I have had a couple of great conversations with. I've listened to him talking to Letterhack. He is one of the most fascinating cats you will get to hear. So, My Dramatic Impact, coming to YouTube, and you've got a fan already, my friend. Also, by the by, the fella is in the cartoon I'm working on as well. Sorry that hasn't come out yet. I'm genuinely trying. I'm just bad at estimating at how much work there is to do. Okay, see you later.